This episode of the Talkcast Podshow is brought to you by Bokusu!
Yay.
That's right, our favorite distributors of Japanese snacks. And if it's your first time ordering through them, use the code TeamFourStar10 at checkout to get 10% off your order. Because the reason they're doing the Sakura box this month is it's full bloom Sakura season down there, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Begins in late March and goes through early April.
And I'm excited because I love these delicious, delicate, floral flavors. Hard to believe, because I believe one of the first boxes we ever got through Bokusu was the spring box. So I feel like they've been sponsoring us for over a year now.
That's actually possible. They could. Oh my gosh.
It's as you'd expect a hard candy to be. It's hard, it's candy, and it has this very delicate floral flavor to it.
That's not incredibly. I mean, there's sugar, but
it's kind of milky sweet.
I like that it's not too sugary. I can appreciate that.
Next up we have Ume Nochi Hare Rice Cracker Mix.
Salty, crunchy, delicious. You can't go wrong with this stuff.
Really can't. Like, they are like the definition of binge bar food. Like, I could see this in like a bowl next to like a beer. Tasty. We also get to wash down all these delicious flavors with some Satsumarche Sakura green tea. Next we have Sakura Chinsuko, which are these little star cookies.
Star cookies.
This adorable Sakura Chinsuko cookie is shaped and flavored and colored like a Japanese cherry blossom. Oh, never mind, it's a cherry blossom. It's very much like, it's got that dense texture and that snap of the ginger snap, but it has that delicate Sakura flavor.
I think it's delicious. I think that is so good.
The Sakura Monaka.
God, I love that texture. I love sweet red bean. And that is the perfect texture. Although, honestly, I do like it a little bit chunkier. This is incredibly smooth.
I like them chunky.
You got the red bean there, the slight addition of that Sakura florality. Tsukiri Ume Sour Plum Arare Rice Crackers.
That's a rice cracker.
Crepe Coloré Strawberry.
Caloré.
It's nice to mix up the flavors a bit here. Like, you get a lot of Sakura, but the strawberry, solid stuff.
Yeah, I do. I love strawberry.
This is very much that like strawberry ice cream strawberry. I know these are made like these are built like a straw. I could see drinking a glass of milk with this and then just like crunching into it.
Oh, you know kids do that. You know
absolutely.
Kids will
I do it.
Yeah, kids would open up their boxed milk and stick it in and drink through that. Oh, 100%.
Dude, get the chocolate one, drink some coffee with it, bam, you're good. Next up, Super Mucho Chips, sour plum flavor.
Super Mucho!
Super! I love Japanese potato chips, dude.
They do so much more than we do.
They really do. The potato chip is such a vessel for flavor. There is a reason in Naruto you always see Choji just munching down on a new bag.
Actually, yeah. Wow, I didn't think I was gonna like that, but the more I eat them, the more I want.
Like, this might be the star of the bag for me. Sakura cake.
Sakura cakey.
If this were a wishbone, I think I'd win, but... Ugh. If this were Food Wars, I just ended up in a field with cherry blossoms raining all around me on a beautiful sunny day, and for some reason I'm naked.
This is so sweet and so delicate.
Yeah, incredible. Like, I'm not usually for the cakes in these. Like, they're usually like one of the things that are like on the bottom of my tier list, but this might actually supplant the chips. It's like a beautiful combination of a donut and a muffin.
Duffin!
A duffin. Next up, we have Alfort Premium Rich Strawberry. See, these I can appreciate, because like you can like limit yourself on some of these, because like it comes in like a tray.
So where the straws, we're more of that artificial but still tasty strawberry flavor. This is much closer to actual strawberry flavor.
Holy shit, that's a lot of it. Like, it's not quite that chocolate dipped strawberry flavor, but I think as artificial means that's as close as you're getting. Next up, we have Puree Gummy Premium Mikan plus Pink Grapefruit.
Ooh.
You know what? As grapefruit things go, that's pretty damn good.
The grapefruit hits different from the Mikan. Let's say that. The Mikan is a delightful citrus tangerine-esque flavor. But the grapefruit one is just punch you in the face grapefruit. Like, it takes no prisoners.
Sakura Mochi!
There you go. I do. Oh, it's so soft and fluffy.
Ooh. It's so fun to eat mochi.
Oh my god, I love that.
Oh my gosh. Why don't we have an equivalent to that, like, here in America?
Because
like, the closest is a marshmallow, and it's nowhere near.
Because American snacks are boring. They destroy us in Kit Kats.
The Sakura brioche.
Oh my god. Oh my god! There's so much flavor! There's so much flavor!
It is a lot of flavor.
Oh my god! Every bite sends me further into the depths of Sakura!
I think there's a hentai called that, a doujin.
Depths of Sakura.
I don't think this beats that Sakura cake for me. But if you're looking for Sakura flavor, this is the most Sakura thing in this entire box.
Oh my god.
Like, it is aggressively.
I'm reeling! What a fucking thing to end on. Holy crap.
Box. So thank you once again to Boxu. And remember, if you order with the code TeamFourStar10 at checkout, you can get 10% off your order. Thank you again to Boxu. And now on to the Talkcast Podshow. Hello and welcome to the Talkcast Podshow, the #1 show on the internet and your new Guardians of the Globe. I'm your host, the man who will protect everyone, no matter what you say. I am Omnilan. And joining us today, is he a clone or is he the genuine article? All I know is it's Kaiser Neko.
Man, if I had clones, I would get so much more work done. You have no idea.
Speaking of getting work done, we're also joined by the robot that keeps us all ticking along, Stefan.
Not sure how I feel about the robot, but hi.
Look, I'm trying to pull from all these characters on here from this amazing show. Also, welcome everybody to the...
Zachary Quinto just fine, though.
Yeah, no.
Is it Quinto? I thought it was Quinto.
Yeah. I thought it was quinoa.
I don't know how. I think he's pronounced as Quinto, but
yeah, this show has been fantastic, and I want to talk a lot about it. But first, I want to point out, like, hey, everybody, look, we got a new format here. Just in time for us all to get vaccinated and then eventually get back into the studio and change it all again, maybe at some point.
Yeah, that is really funny. Like, we're gonna have this for probably two months, maybe 3 months, and here we are.
But hey, we'll see what comes from there. But before we get into today's main topic, which is Invincible, gotta get a brief bit here with the rundown, because there's a couple of things. The first one, which was initially going to be the topic of this week's Talkcast Pod Show, but man, did Invincible really just come in and take all of my attention and all of my rage.
Let's be honest, Invincible is eating its lunch.
It's eating all the lunch. Falcon and Winter Soldier came out. We're sitting at 3 episodes here as of this recording. And I don't have anything necessarily bad to say about it, but... And I do have a few good things to say about it, but like it's not enough that I feel like I'd dedicate a whole hour to it, you know?
Good lord, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all is not exactly the best compliment.
I mean, like I said, I think it's doing a few things that I like. I like that it's actually treating the blip like it was something, because the most we've gotten from it so far is we got some kind of like surface level idea of what happened with it in WandaVision, and in Spider-Man Far From Home, it was like, whatever, it happened. Like,
well, they covered some like societal repercussions,
exactly,
here and there in Spider-Man Far From Home. But it was mostly a joke, and I'm glad it was in that movie. It made that movie better for it to be a joke.
For it to like not be the main focus.
I will say this though, the fact that in the MCU at large it has been treated kind of like a joke makes the plot here feel a little less weighty. Because somebody pointed out on Twitter, I can't exactly remember who it was, but they were talking about the fact that Endgame was the series finale to the MCU. And to try and touch on something as societally the paradigm shift that something like the blip would cause would require a lot of really close attention. So, yeah, the fact that, I don't know, the show wants to use it as sort of the backdrop, but the last couple of movies have either treated it like a joke or just basically shoot it all together. So, I don't know. It's just not engaging me.
One movie treated it as a joke. and the movie's a comedy.
Yeah, and
So I don't know. I'd say it's been treated seriously more than not, and I don't think one instance of treating it as a joke makes the entire thing moot.
yeah.
Well, okay. To be fair, is the only movie that we have post Blip Spider-Man?
Yes.
Yeah.
So far,
Oh, well, okay. That's not doing it favors.
not particularly.
I mean, there were supposed to be
but-
other movies by now, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Everything kind of got upended, and
we're
It
on
is-
our way to another Spider-Man this year already.
we are. It's important. Like it is a huge event, and I am glad that they're addressing the societal implications of what that means. But the biggest problem I had, and Kaiser, you and I actually talked about this a bit, is it's doing way too much. Like it's trying to tell way too many stories.
I feel like they started off with the most engaging, most interesting stuff in terms of like Bucky and Sam. I want to know all about their lives. I want to see them post being like universe-saving Avengers. And that's the thing I really care the most about. But this overall bigger plot with the new Captain America, with the super serum, with these like terrorists, with this terrorist cell. No, I don't actually care about that as much as I do, like, or Isaiah. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in
It's
Winter
weird
Soldier.
that they glossed over Isaiah Bradley and he hasn't come back yet.
Yeah, obviously he's going to play a bigger role as we move forward with the show, but
Yeah,
as of-
and I'm pretty sure the kid will too.
as of
But
right now, it does feel a little cluttered. Which is why I kind of really want to save this discussion for after the series is over, because then you can actually judge it as a whole rather than oh man, as it's ongoing. Because I'm not gonna lie, midway through Mandalorian season 2, this is also kind of how I felt, where I'm like, what are we doing here? Like we're just kind of moving from place to place. Like we've had some really cool set pieces, and some of the stuff's been like really really cool, but until you can judge it from like beginning to end, it's kind of difficult,
I will say WandaVision had me way more engaged in its first couple of episodes, but then again, it had a hook. It had something that was incredibly fascinating, something no other Marvel property had done. So I think that had that to its benefit. This does kind of feel like a very long movie.
Yeah.
This show actually does feel like something that might be better binged
Yes.
than watched week to week. I think WandaVision was a good week to week experience.
Because
This
it was
one
more
is
episodic.
more of a binge show. Because it's just, one chapter to the next, and it has hooks for the next episode, and I'm interested every time, but yeah, it's more low key. And I don't mind that. And I like that the show exists.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that the show exists. I like that these characters are getting more time to develop and exist because they needed it.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like right now, it's trying to tackle a lot of things at once, and it hasn't all come together yet. And it might come together amazingly by the 6th episode, but at the moment, it's just hard to see where exactly it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm willing to wait and see how it pays off. Like, it's not like I'm going to drop the show. I'm very curious to see where it goes.
Yeah,
But
what else are you gonna watch on a Friday? Oh. Ah, man. Another quick thing on the rundown. My Hero. Coming. It's back. It's here. And I think we want to do those weekly reviews again on Mondays, but we kind of missed it this Monday. And let's be honest, last Monday, like, the
There's
first
nothing to
episode,
talk about.
it's exactly what I thought it was going to be before I saw that episode.
The funny thing is, I was looking to actually get the My Hero review started back up, but I have been really busy working on a My Hero parody video, which is a very, that's not ironic, that would be coincidental. A very coincidental reason for me to not, or maybe that is ironic, I don't know.
I think that's ironic, don't
Yeah.
you think?
Ironically, I haven't started the My Hero reviews because I'm working on a My Hero video.
Yeah.
No, and so yeah, but I'm eager for this season, not for this arc though. Like, I'm really looking forward to the second half of this season. The first half of this season has some cool stuff, but if anybody has seen anything in the manga past this point, they know
Which I have
the real,
not.
The real cool stuff is coming. Like, holy shit.
I figure this arc will, like, so to speak, will be more or less wrapped up by episode 10.
Oh yeah, it's not very long.
My hero is usually fairly well paced. Usually.
So I think it won't overstay its welcome.
Yeah, I will say this has the worst opening. Like, the worst opening out of all My Hero openings.
Season 3 exists, though.
I was gonna say, like, this opening, like, it has a real weird somber tone to it at the beginning, but as soon as it gets to, like, the hook, the refrain, I kind of dig the hook and the refrain there.
I genuinely think the visuals are incredibly boring.
Yeah,
and visuals are a big thing for me, and I just genuinely, like, zoned out. I was like, wow, these storyboards are really boring. The animation is really plain. Actually, the song itself is fine, but...
Yeah. I usually try to ignore the visuals during the openings of most shonen anime because if you want spoilers, that's where you're gonna find a lot of spoilers. Is in the freaking openings of the shows, man.
Yeah.
One other thing. So yeah, we'll be going back to doing reviews on Mondays, right? Mondays, Kaiser.
I think so.
I'm actually thinking. I'm pretty sure Mondays.
Yeah, Mondays, 2:00 Central, probably.
But you're locking me into a time right now.
I am doing my damnedest to.
I will get back to you if we continue with these. It will most likely be. Yeah, I mean, like 2 p.m. Central works because that'll be after our usual Monday huddles. But
I'd push it to 3 just in case.
Yeah. Thank you.
3 cuts things a little close on my end on the other side, unfortunately.
Oh,
so
right.
Like that's why I'm pushing for 2.
Well,
Gotcha.
they're usually about half an hour, so we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
It shall be
By the way,
figured out.
I'm dipping out of those reviews. I might jump in here and there, but I can't do the week to week with my other stuff I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's not like your schedule isn't packed to the brim.
I honestly, if streams didn't just make me tired, I'd be fine. But
I mean, yeah, streams are a lot, like, especially when you have to actively engage in a conversation, they can be really, really tiring.
It is a different level of energy. And there's one more thing in the rundown I want to cover here, and I don't know if either of you have seen it. Have either of you seen Kong vs. Godzilla, or Godzilla vs. Kong?
No, and I want to so badly.
And I don't want to at all.
Oh yeah, no. Hold on.
I just don't care.
That's fair.
I have no hatred for it. I don't care about giant monsters fighting.
Yeah, that guy over there doesn't care about Godzilla. Boo him and shame him.
This man hates fun.
I like different fun that I think is fun.
If I were to give it just like a quick non-spoiler review, it's fun. It's a giant monster movie. People are there for some reason. Solid 7 out of 10. Monkey fight dinosaur. Yay.
I want to watch the monkey fight the dino really badly.
And it's if that is what you're going in there to watch, you will enjoy yourself, I think. It has some pretty cool, like, it has some, like, pretty fun choreography between the two, like, considering it is a giant gorilla versus a nuclear-powered dinosaur.
It is not a fair matchup, but I'm sure they'll have done enough to make it work.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've had a big part of it spoiled for me, which I think a lot of people did if they looked up any of the merchandise, so...
I will say, like, I didn't look up any of the merchandise, but I did call it. Like, I knew that was going to happen. And
really? I would never have called that. I won't lie to you. I would never have called that that's what they were going to go with.
I absolutely knew, because there are only so many things that the general public knows about the Godzilla and all the kaijus, and that is one of them. So yeah, that was going to happen. And it did, and I was not surprised.
Is it at least cool?
It's pretty cool.
Okay.
I feel like there's a little bit of wasted potential with it, but it's cool.
I'm somebody who desperately wants another Pacific Rim, you know, besides the second Pacific Rim, which was garbage. The first Pacific Rim is one of the best giant robot movies ever made, because Guillermo del Toro knew how to film it. He knew how to make it feel larger than life and make all the big stuff happen and make it, like, give it weight and gravitas.
And the fact that people say that, like, that it's like one of the best, like, giant fighting movies ever, and I thought Pacific Rim was, like, fine, is why I just don't watch the big fighting people movies, just because. Okay, if I didn't love Pacific Rim, I probably won't love any of these movies.
Yeah. Look, you just saw the end of Korra season 2, and you were like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out."
Yeah.
Giant kaiju.
Yeah, no, I didn't want that.
Yeah, nobody. I have talked to people who really like the giant kaiju fight at the end of Korra season 2, and I respect them and their opinion. But I did try to get them committed.
The only kaiju fight I like is the one in Ghostbusters.
That, you know what? You're not wrong.
The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is a kaiju.
It is 100%.
Why couldn't they bring him back for the sequel and have it fight the Statue of Liberty? Your love is breaking me higher.
Since we're in the rundown, I just want to bring up, there's a new clip from Ghostbusters Afterlife.
That's right, that's still a thing.
One second, why don't I just link it for you guys in our Discord so you guys can see this 1 minute clip too. We can talk about it in real time if we want.
Oh?
Okay.
It makes me groan. but if you guys think it's fun.
Okay, how about we watch this later? I see what this is about though.
Oh man.
Yeah, we'll watch.
We don't have to talk about it in detail, but
Yeah, there were mini puffs. Oh, that's neat.
Like, I mean, it can be fun, I guess. It's just one of those things like, okay, they're leaning really hard on the old stuff, and that usually means a movie that's not actually very good, but it'll make certain kinds of fans very happy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll wait to see the reviews from some of the people I trust. The way that I usually go about like a movie I'm iffy on, I look to the people who have very similar tastes that I do, who subject themselves to movies I otherwise wouldn't watch. So when they say like, oh no, this is good, I might give it a chance, because I can't watch every fucking thing that comes out.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people, when they hear like, oh yeah, I have some critics who have my taste that I listen to, they get really like fucked up about that. They hear that and they think, oh, you just want someone who's gonna mirror your opinions. And I'm like, I cannot watch every goddamn movie that comes out. So yes, I'm gonna look for some people whose job it is to watch these movies who I can trust when they say, you like it. Because if I do watch it and I don't like it, oh well, I took that chance. But more often than not,
honestly, when it comes down to like critics, I hardline agree with what Donkey said in one of his videos. The most important thing that a critic can be is consistent. Even if you disagree with them on something, that means you know that like, okay, they and I differ on this. So when they say they like something that they normally hate, that you normally like, that's like a big like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you've got it.
Yeah, so honestly, it's just about how much you trust the person's taste and how consistent they are in those tastes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I
go ahead. I was thinking about something.
Oh, I was gonna transition over into our main topic of the day. If you, okay, because yeah, Invincible. It came like I saw the trailer for it, a few months before it actually dropped out here, and the visual style looked beautiful. I'm deep into that superhero rabbit hole, so I was all about it. I love the idea of, warped reality superheroes. In this case, it's kind of like a DC universe dealy. And damn, this show came out, just blew my goddamn mind. I love it so much.
I'm sorry, real quick. We were talking about My Hero Academia, and then you said superhero rabbit hole, and I'm just gonna let that one sit there.
We were talking about My Hero a while ago, man. You had to, your filthy mind had to go backwards.
Oh, it's always look. My mind doesn't go to the gutter. It's set up shop there. Okay, Horny Jail is my apartment. Okay.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no. Invincible is something that I've seen the comic for a million years, right? Like it's kind of infamous and famous. It's really popular. It's kind of, I don't know how to put this. When I heard it was kind of like The Boys, only less cynical. Yeah. So I was really curious about it.
It's like if you made Injustice brighter, like lighter,
Like I'll speak on this. I am actually a longtime fan of the comic.
Okay.
I've been waiting for almost this exact show for like a decade.
Well,
this is exactly what I wanted in an adaptation. And the comic is very lighthearted. It's got dark shit in it.
Oh yeah.
But it never makes you feel like shit.
Yeah, that's sort of remarkable because, by the way, heads up, we will be going into the events of the first 4 episodes.
Yeah,
and if
I won't spoil anything past that. But
I want to. I want to say just very briefly here, we aren't talking spoilers just yet.
Yeah, but I will say
we'll be getting there.
Episode 1 has a
Huge
it's amazing
spoiler.
that there's a huge spoiler in the first episode. But holy fucking shit. I remember, so I was watching that episode and then the credits hit and I'm like, well, that was really cool. I can't wait to see more. Oh, hey, there's more. There's more to this episode. Okay.
Yeah, there's like 15 minutes more.
Yeah. And then for the last 5 minutes of that episode, I couldn't make a noise. I literally, my breath stopped, everything just stopped. And as I watched, what a holy and again, the fact that it was as effective as it was after 1 episode. Like, the 40 minutes, to be fair, that's enough time to set that up. But holy shit.
Yeah, in context, I watched Falcon and Winter Soldier right before I watched this, and I'm like, wow, yeah, you know what, that was pretty good. I liked a lot of the set pieces. Sat down, watched this. Holy shit! More! Click.
Yeah.
yeah, it really helps that for my money, this is way better than The Walking Dead. This is easily Kirkman's best comic book.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they're the same.
Yeah, no,
Robert
dude,
Kirkman, yeah.
he has all
And
of
he's-
his
and he's
Walking
showrunning.
Yeah, he has all of his Walking Dead money. He turned that into a way to just open his own studio and is just cranking out these the stuff that he wants to make. It's beautiful.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
and-
That's neat.
And animation was the only medium this series could
Oh,
really
yeah.
exist in.
Oh, I
if,
would have
if it had been live action, it would have been terrible.
No. I can't even
Even
imagine
though,
that.
isn't Seth Rogen currently trying to adapt a live action version?
Is he?
I
He's
think he's produced this version.
yeah, he's the executive producer on the show.
I heard something about him being involved with a live action adaptation for some reason.
Maybe he was looking to get it adapted
Maybe
a while back.
that might
and then-
have been what it was.
Yeah. I mean, he props to Seth Rogen as a producer because he's been producing all the fucking comic book shows.
Yeah.
He's been using what influence he has in the industry to be like, I want to make all these comic books exist.
He's like a Kevin Smith that's less up his own ass.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm sad about that. Okay, Kevin Smith isn't a bad guy, but
Look,
he is.
I like Kevin Smith's work, and honestly,
Well, we don't know if he's a bad guy, but he seems
yeah,
fine.
yeah. You never know who's a bad guy.
no news has currently dropped about him being a bad guy, so
He
I will
seems to
continue
be
to
an-
assume that the person he presents is the person he is.
People seem to think he's a sweet guy, so
Yeah.
that is whatever. But
Yeah,
but Seth Rogen's in the show for a brief moment, and I think if they're
Great
going to cast him in
cameo.
it, it's the right role to give him.
I won't lie, I wasn't expecting that. It's Seth Rogen to play that character, but it worked. It was great actually.
Yeah,
it was,
his voice fit very well for that, and I just want to say, is this one of the single best voice casts for any animated production in general? Because holy shit.
I
so-
love that Jason Mantzoukas is getting all the roles that T.J. Miller used to get because he's better at it.
it's really funny because I didn't put this together at first, but what's the name of Mark's gay best friend?
Oh,
Can't remember. He
All I
doesn't
kn-
really feature a lot.
No, but it really threw me off because I was like, I swear to God, I've heard that voice before.
Andrew Rannells.
Yeah, that's
William,
fucking-
Andrew Rannells is the actor. William Clockwell is the character. There we go.
yeah. Andrew plays Matthew in Big Mouth.
Yeah.
And I was like, I swear to God, I've heard that voice before. I was like, that's it.
There's so many, when Rexplode first started talking, I'm like, is that Nick Kroll for a second? Cause he has that,
Oh, no, that's-
kind of delivery to him.
No, speaking of another Big Mouth alumni, that's fucking, I forget his name.
Jason Mantzoukas, yeah.
Jason Mantzoukas. Okay, that's why. Okay.
Yeah,
I get some of the class.
He's getting the roles
cast
now
confused
that
sometimes.
that T.J. Miller used to get before he was obviously an asshole. And Jason Mantzoukas is a better actor, so I really don't mind. He's very fun. He's got a great fucking rough voice.
Yeah, he really leans into that shit. He plays a fantastic asshole.
Absolutely.
Oh, very much so. But I mean, you got J.K. Simmons as Omni-Man, and he's fucking perfect. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Is it in his contract that he has to play a guy with a mustache? I mean, he didn't in Whiplash, but I think that might have just been, for the potential Oscar.
Well, I mean, he didn't in Zootopia either.
That's right. Yeah, J.K.
Although
Simmons.
He just has mustache energy.
He has
big
dad
mustache energy
He
with
has
every.
BMA.
Yeah.
He blends that line so well from like stern badass to warm father and loving husband. It's so incredible. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, I've seen people say like, oh, he hasn't gotten that much to do so far, but it's like, no, he's just playing it subtly because like the direction in this show is often very subtle for the acting, unless they need it to be bigger.
It's stupendous. I cannot tell you. By the way, first of all, Steve Ewan getting more and more voice work. I'm all about it.
He's great in this too. He has some of my favorite line deliveries I've ever heard.
His subtle stuff is the best of it all. Like, it's the small little things that just really put it all together.
Yeah, Steve Yeun's a great mark, and which means he'd also be a great Spider-Man if they ever wanted to hire him for that.
Yeah, I mean,
oh my god, I never thought of that. But Steve Yeun as Peter Parker. Oh my god.
But
yeah,
he had one of the most relatable deliveries I have ever heard in an entire show. When Omni-Man's trying to talk to him as he's trying to go upstairs, like get back to his room and see his friend. And,
Yeah.
I'm just like, that is so fucking relatable. I love it. Like,
that shit was great.
No, listen, son, you gotta,
Yeah, I love Steve Ewan. I love,
Sandra Oh as his mom.
Oh yeah, Sandra Oh is killing it. There's also
amazing job.
The guy, also Clancy Brown, which
yes,
I love Clancy Brown and everything he does, but here playing this fucking noir
detective
Hellboy.
Etrigan.
Yeah. Oh god, he's so
the question,
good.
but he's a demon.
And then there's also what's his Cecil. I don't know.
That's what's his name? Walton Goggins.
Yeah, and his subordinate, who's
I love his subordinate, like just especially in that scene where he's just like standing next to the dead kaiju. It's like it just moves all.
It's weird that you want. It's weird that you want to talk so much about like the cast, but you got to admit the voice work has just been so good.
Yeah.
That it's kind of one of the first things that comes up when you're watching the show. It's
an all-star cast where you don't think about the fact that they're celebrities all the time.
Yeah, which oh my god, thank you.
Celebrities who can voice act is kind of rare.
Yeah, Gillian Jacobs is
Adam Eve.
Adam Eve, and like Gillian's got she's got a really normal voice. She's Britta from Community. And she's got such a normal voice that she's always good at the acting and voice acting, but she just disappears into a role and you just buy that she's whatever character she is and you don't think that's Gillian Jacobs. I know that voice.
And pretty much every actor in this feels that. It's just so it blends so seamlessly into these characters. Even JK, whose voice is immediately noticeable because everybody ever since Portal 2, Cave Johnson, I've been a JK stan. So
yeah. First time I really ever heard him was Spider-Man. I never even, my mind doesn't even begin to connect him to Cave Johnson, even though, yeah, that's absolutely him. The two places I always go are Spider-Man and Korra, because his Tenzin is, the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved him in Spider-Man. There's a reason they brought him back as J. Jonah, because he's perfect for that role. But honestly, even going back to the last Talkcast, the scene he had in Justice League, he's just fucking made my goddamn day. Just seeing him react to all this weird bullshit that's happening around him as Commissioner Gordon. He is so good. He can be in anything, and I will be happy.
He's got such a distinct voice, but he's also such a natural actor that he always just works in whatever role people give him.
Yeah, pure inspiration, honestly. And we, as a group of actors, we're definitely going to talk a bit about the cast and the acting, because it's the craft. It's what you love, and man, it's so on point in this show.
I mean, you guys are actors. I'm just a guy who does silly voices.
Well, and also like there's Zachary Quinto, who again like is a great actor who doesn't get a lot of work, but like whenever he shows up, he always does a great job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, actually, that was like when I heard that he was going to be in there, I was like, wow, I don't know if I've heard Zachary Quinto do voice stuff very often. I wonder how that's going to be. And yeah, he's fucking perfect character for it. Perfect character.
He's got another one of those voices that just kind of gets lost in the role, and it's great. Oh man.
But yeah, I do have to say, like, one of my, that's definitely one of my favorite things about the show. One of the other things that I really like is that it is not afraid to kind of constantly attack and confront its own status quo. Mm-hmm. It's attacking
and our real life status quo. But
yeah,
it's attacking the comic material. I think at a pretty brisk pace, if I'm correct.
From what I understand, this first season is going to have 6 episodes in it.
No,
8.
Really?
8?
Falcon Winter Soldier has 6.
Okay, yeah, that was my mix up there. I don't know.
Okay.
I looked online for some reason. It like has a list of 6 episodes as soon as I looked up. So I'm like, oh, it must be 6. But if it's 8, I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm fairly
More.
certain it's 8.
I mean, I'm really hoping it's 8 because, quite frankly, oh man, 6 would make me sad.
Give me a dozen. Give me 20. Just go all the way. I don't.
And it was so great of them to start with like 3 episodes right off the bat.
Yes.
Because you get like a little movie basically, and it's a good time. Also, I want to note, it's so smart the thing they do with the credits, where like they always cut in the credits early. Mm-hmm. So you're like, oh man, that was a pretty good episode, and then like, oh wait, there's more. And there's always, so you always get like, it always feels like you're getting more than you bargained for every single time.
Yeah, I double checked, and yes, it is 8 episodes, and yeah.
One question, because there's one thing that like kind of rubs me weird with this show, and it's its implementation of its own title card. It sometimes feels a little jarring and weird.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I absolutely adore it.
I think all it needs is more of a like like some sort of like more bombastic cut into it. I think the fact that it's so low key cut into it always takes me out more than makes me invested. But
yeah, it just feels a little weird. Like pacing wise, I know what they're doing with it, and I dig what they're doing with it. There's just something about the presentation.
A little bit of tweaking.
Yeah,
I think you're both so wrong.
And you know what?
I love the way that it is.
All right to think that.
Yeah, I like the way that it is because it is just kind of, it's like right out of nowhere. It's because it doesn't punch you in the face with it so much as it kind of like uppercuts you. You don't see it coming, and then like I don't know.
And I don't know. Maybe they can turn into a character thing where they do make it a bit more bombastic and cool once he's like fully come into his own as a hero.
Yeah, I can see them playing around with it a little bit more, but so far, like somebody was talking about the fact that during the funeral scene it was really jarring, and I'm like, I love that though. I love that it's jarring. Like the fact that it feels like it is intentionally undercutting the scene that it's in. It feels very intentional, and yeah. I like that.
Speaking of funerals, I think are we safe to talk about spoilers now?
I would say yeah. From this point forward, we've talked around it. Cannot recommend it enough. Those of you that don't want to listen to spoilers, go fucking watch it, man. It's so good.
It's great. It's well animated. They adapted Ryan Otley's art from the comics extremely well.
Just the first time you see him in costume flying through the city, I'm like, oh my god. Like I don't have a great eye for like visual, like, artistic flair, but that was gorgeous.
Yeah. Before we get too much into spoilers, my general opinion of the series: incredibly violent. Definitely R-rated. This entire thing is not for kids. And if you're squeamish with violence, yeah, just get out as soon as you can because this show
it is very cartoony violence, even when it does feel intense because you connect to the characters, but
very
it is
over the
cartoony.
top, but very cartoony. Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say it's also the animation can be good and bad. There are some times where it looks gorgeous. There are other times where it's.
I mean, it can have its stiff moments.
When they're doing like stuff that's like computer generated, like the 3D stuff, you see some of the like aliens walking around. It gets like whenever they have to animate a large group of things doing something, it's
crowd shots make me want to puke. The people in the background look awful, and look, I know that they're working on a budget. I know what animation is like. I understand that entirely. I'm not knocking the people working on the show. But I got to admit, there are some shots where I'm like, oh no, okay, I got to focus on the main characters. If I look at that background, I'm just going to be like staring at
I think they do the best within the style that is allowed to them.
And again, I don't think this takes away enough from it to like even put a mar on it for me.
It wouldn't, like, these scenes wouldn't be able to exist without the CG. So yeah, like, whatever. Yeah. It's got CG.
Yeah. So without further ado, Stefan, I'm guessing you like this too. You recommend it?
Of course, yes.
Spoiler time.
It's as a fan, it is exactly what I've been wanting as an adaptation since I read the comic as a kid 10 years ago.
Well, you can't spoil the comic for us, so be careful.
I'm not going to
spoil anything. But yeah, going into spoilers, I really like how, and I believe this is a show-only thing, the Guardians of the Globe have like this introductory scene.
Yeah.
That like makes you kind of like all of them. Like they're good people. They risk their own lives to help people. Like particularly the Batman guy. There's a fairly memorable scene of him.
Yeah, Darkwing.
Like choosing to die rather than let one person die. It's like, okay, so these are good actual superheroes. Like,
and then Omni-Man shows up and there's immediately tension. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god, this fucking guy. Like you can tell there's that energy about it.
But oddly, like what makes this so jarring is that Omni-Man does seem to generally like the people around him. Mm-hmm. But also he does the thing at the end of the episode.
Yeah, where here's the big spoiler basically. Omni-Man is ? Evil? Because you see him at the very end.
Certainly a murderer.
Yeah, certainly a murderer. At the end of the first episode, like when those credits roll, you're given like another, brief introduction as to like what each of the Guardians of the Globe do in their like on their own time. So you get a little bit more personal time with them when they're summoned to their lookout, their Fortress of Solitude or whatever, only to discover that Omni-Man is there to ambush them, and he, like in a beautifully animated fight scene, takes them out one at a time, one after another, in a gory, brutal fashion that we had not seen up until this point in the show. Like there was like a little bit of blood here and there, but this is like the first thing you see is the Flash equivalent, the Red Rush, gets his head slowly crushed to death as he's sitting in that Speed Force dying for an eternity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That scene, like one of my favorite parts about that is when he keeps punching, even though at this point his hands are broken.
Yeah, he's
and it's
fight
rough
or
to
die.
watch.
Yeah,
and I don't know. It feels like it's having a bit of fun having some ultra violence in the show.
Yes,
but also like it doesn't feel that excessive because it seems just like, I don't know, the edginess, quote unquote, in the show is more of a, well, let's ask some interesting questions about in this what is essentially DC universe that is not the DC universe. Mm-hmm. Like there's lots of original characters in this series, but also like it's clearly based specifically on the DC comics.
Yeah, like this is a Superman gone bad story essentially, and I will admit it is one of my favorite tropes. I do like Superman gone bad stories.
Yeah,
and Justice League of America is essentially what the Guardians of the Globe are. Mm-hmm. Like they're the same kind of group.
I mean, you've got so many XPs. You've got a Wonder Woman. You've got a Flash. You've got a Batman.
Yeah.
Like you even kind of have a Martian Manhunter-esque.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's exactly a Martian Manhunter type. But then Martian Manhunter is split into like two characters based on like power. And I'm not really sure who Guardian is supposed to be, or like whatever his name was.
He's kind of a Captain America.
Kind of, but he can also fly and throw people into space. He's like
another Superman almost.
Yeah, but not Superman, obviously, or else he might have lived.
But yeah, like there's this whole DC universe surrounding it, and it's got that sort of light comic booky feel, but also it asks these questions like, well, what if it did have to live by the rules of our reality as well? So like this is a comic book world, but also it's kind of realistic, but not like realistic in a way where, I haven't watched The Boys yet, and I haven't read the comic, but that doesn't seem realistic to me. That seems, like Scott said before, cynical.
It's very cynical. Very much.
I will say this with the boys, it is very actively. It is incredibly cynical, but in a way that's not entirely nihilistic. Its take on things is like it is very stark with the reality it's trying to parallel. It is an active takedown on the current like Marvel cinematic culture,
but also very much so it's a tear down on celebrity culture, where like, you know, this celebrity presents themselves as such a great person, but oh my god, what a piece of shit in the background, and they play in all aspects of that.
Yeah,
and this show's more like, well, you know, what if these are just all people?
Mm-hmm.
You know, not necessarily good or evil, just human beings who have their own, you know, personal bullshit to deal with and can die, like at any moment. And when they die, they're dead. This isn't old comic book rules where they'll always come back. Most people will just stay dead.
Yeah. And I got that. I caught that very early on. I'm like, yeah, well, if you ever do a deconstruction of superheroes, if you're going to like, you either don't have them come back to life at all, or you make a horrific, weird, crazy reason that any of them might come back to life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because I think that's the only two ways that you could tackle that.
Yeah, this show is like, it's not a comedy, but it is satire. And I've seen people be like confused about the tone because of that. Because like, I don't know, like it feels like this comic world, but it's not like parody enough. And it's like, well, it's not a parody. It's satirizing comic books, but it's still taking itself seriously because it still wants to be a comic book story, like traditionally. Like Robert Kirkman was just like, I want my own DC universe that I get to play with.
What if I did?
These are my toys.
It's like, what if I did Watchmen? Only I don't have the bleakest outlook that Alan Moore does.
Right, like it's from the it's like Watchmen, but it's from the perspective of someone who likes comic book heroes.
Yeah, there you go.
Because you have this strange dichotomy with Omni-Man, where he, on one hand, is a terrible like sociopathic murderer that like you don't really know exactly what his motivations are. You can kind of guess at them given his backstory. But then you see him go home, and he seems to be genuinely a loving husband and
he's
father.
He's a good dad.
Yeah,
and like, and you see them consistently note in the more recent episodes that like he's acting different.
Mm-hmm.
He's clearly not mind
things
controlled,
happen,
but he's acting different.
So I literally don't know anything about what happens past episode 4. So anything that I
same.
It definitely. Every scene where he is spending with like his son and his wife, you can tell that he's hiding something, but you can also say, I think, and I might be wrong on this one, this show could throw me through a loop, and if it does, I'm totally fine with that. But it really does feel like all the scenes where he says that he loves his wife, he means it.
Yeah.
Like it legitimately does feel like in these scenes, it seems like something happened to him that when he actually fell in love with somebody, that did change his life, and he's trying to deal with that.
It's almost like because a Viltrumite, right? That's what they're called.
Yes.
Yeah. So he essentially comes from a proxy Krypton called Viltrum. And he doesn't have like heat vision or like ice breath or anything like that, but he does have the immense super strength. He can fly. He can do pretty much all the things Superman can do, except like the laser vision, I guess. Mm-hmm. And
except for the powers that Kirkman, I guess, thought were kind of lame.
Yeah, the ones that were just a little too game breaking. So he is Superman, and he came to Earth to the story he tells is that the people of Viltrum travel throughout the galaxy to bring enlightenment and civility to hostile planets, and kind of bring them up and rise them up to their full potential. Which the way I kind of read that is, he basically they are somewhat nicer Saiyans, where they kind of take over a planet and see what, like, they could be selling planets, they could just be ruling planets. It's really hard to say exactly what the deeper motivation is behind all of this, but he falls in love with a woman, and he has a son, and, that's, invincible. And he all of a sudden is having to, like, balance this weird sort of dichotomy that's struggling within him, and it's almost as if something's happening based on his age. Like, I don't know if, like, Viltrum genealogy, if something happens at a certain age where you just like, no, I gotta do this thing that I'm programmed to do or something, but it's clear that something's going on with him.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad trying to speculate with somebody who's read ahead here, because I feel like that puts you in
I'm keeping my poker face. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm almost 90. At this point, I'm almost certain that the reason he got rid of the Guardians is because there's an invasion that's going to happen, and he had to wipe out the guys who could possibly, do the most damage.
It feels like that could be it. It also could be that he's supposed to be the sole guardian or something, or he's like supposed to be the one, and these other things are posing a threat. And since he has a son that's coming of age, maybe there's something involved with that as well.
I think that's why he's so agitated. I think he thought for a while there that his son wasn't going to have powers, and now that his son has powers,
there were some deliveries that lead you to believe that's like, oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, like the way that he delivers, the way he responds to it, it does kind of like. And on one hand, you can tell like he wasn't prepared for this, and he's actually pretty like frustrated actively with it. But on the other hand, he wants to be a good dad and raise his son, which makes me kind of think that he is at some point going to be like, no, son, you don't understand. This is the life that I was talking about.
Yeah, this is the other duty of a Viltrumite.
As the Viltrumites descend upon the planet to take it over. That's kind of what I'm assuming is going to happen. Which
without giving away what happens, I think it's been foreshadowed extremely well. I think there's a lot of themes they touch on, and a lot of dialogue that like sort of gives you nice little hints. And even if people do figure it out beforehand, I don't think they're gonna be like, it should have been a surprise, unless they're lame.
I mean, I'm currently like, even if I get exactly what I think it is, I'm not gonna be upset about that.
No.
Honestly, I'm loving every single minute of this show. Between the cast, the incredible fight scenes, the great dialogue, the stellar dialogue. Like, it's so good. And
they flesh out the world. So like it's not like the MCU where they're like slowly introducing all these wilder ideas. It's like no. It's a full-on comic world right away.
This world
all
feels
these
very lived in.
Crazy things are already here.
Seth Rogen's character, I cannot wait for him to come back. I need that guy
Alan?
to come back. I need to know more about Alan the alien. He is so good.
Is this not... Come on, this is Urath, right? The fact that they have an alien that goes around as part of a service to test the world's guardians to see if they have somebody ready to beat up an interdimensional, like an extraterrestrial threat. It's just like something that planets pay for, and he got it wrong for, I guess, a few years running.
I love that fucking Omni-Man is like, oh great, this guy's back. It's like, why don't you go take care of him? Just go send him on his way.
The best implication about that whole thing is, and it's a big part of what you've already kind of know about Omni-Man's character, he didn't bother to talk to the dude. He just went up there, beat the shit out of him, get out!
He just beat him so fast and kicked him out.
Yeah, but Mark, Invincible, goes up there, is like, what are we doing? It's like, wait, what, you don't know? And fucking solves it with diplomacy. Like, I get real Perseus vibes out of this, and I dig it.
I love how they sit on the moon. Mm-hmm. He just gives them a little rock to sit on.
Hmm? Yeah, and then in the most recent episode, Mark goes to Mars too.
Yeah.
By the way, that's like holy fucking shit. Oh, dude, like
it's a pretty funny episode too.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm gonna take this rock. All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and it shows like Mark, like it shows that Mark is a kid. He has kid interests, and that kind of distract him from superhero stuff. And also, like, there are consequences for him messing up, even when he thinks he's gotten away and like saved everyone anyway.
Yeah, because
like, on Mars, there's still consequences.
Yeah, your big reveal on Mars is that one of the astronauts got replaced by a like freaky alien shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, that scene is insane and creepy, and Oh, that's gonna have real big repercussions
there's
later.
real big dark implications throughout the show about how some of the stuff in this universe works, especially when you focus on Cecil and like the government organization that manages all the superheroes. You get some of that real nitty gritty, and like Stefan said, it just makes it feel like a world that's actually lived in and thought out.
Yeah, like Cecil's basically a Nick Fury.
Yeah.
If you know, again, if like the MCU, for example, had the balls to make him like full on what he is, which is a fascist. Like Nick Fury in the MCU is a fascist. It's pretty clear, but like they'll never like fully commit, it seems like. But this show does commit to like, no, these guys are like, they're the fucking CIA, they're the FBI, they don't care as long as they get the results they want.
They need control. There are super-powered creatures out here, and we need to be in control of them. These normal humans need to have their day.
Yeah, they value security over liberty, and like that's just a character in the show, because like in this world, that's kind of the outlook some people are gonna have.
You're in a world where your opening scene, you have two giant blue aliens, or genetic modified people, like clearly they know how to clone stuff, just popping out of nowhere, getting shot by 50 caliber rounds. Nothing's happening to them. It takes superpowered it takes superpowered individuals to come down there and stop them from walking into the White House and just murdering the president.
Yeah, I won't lie to you, man. I fucking love Kevin Michael Richardson and anything that he does, and these two motherfuckers have been like the
original.
The Muller twins. Like, by the way, when I found out that was all for the show, that actually really gave me a lot of respect to the showrunners. Adding stuff in that actually legitimately does expand, and it like, because in a comic book, things are paced differently, you're introduced to characters differently. But for a show, they were like, okay, no, we're actually going to take some time to really establish the Guardians here. And I really respected that. I thought that was a great move.
Which, by the way, the showrunner is Robert Kirkman, the writer of the comic.
Yeah, so he's the one like adding to his own universe.
Fuck, okay, that's pretty... God damn, that is
if you're going to get
cool
anybody
as
to
hell.
do it.
Yeah, well, okay, that's kind of true. To be honest, like, it's not all, like, somebody who's really experienced in comics, that doesn't immediately translate to they can showrun. Like, the fact that he's able to do this is actually speaks greatly to his talent.
Dude knows media.
He has there's two more executive producers who might also be the showrunners. I'm not sure, but Simon Raciapa and Catherine Winder. So I don't know if he's the sole showrunner. He might have people who are more experienced helping him.
He almost certainly has a say, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, he's certainly in charge. He's adapting the way he wants. And yeah, Seth Rogen is one of the producers.
Oh yeah, and for some reason, Run the Jewels plays when they show up. Which, yes, okay, 100%. I'm not always a fan of the fucking music that they put in there, the licensed music they've been using, but fucking Run the Jewels every time the Muller twins show up, yeah, no, I'm about it. Holy fuck.
I've been digging on it. The that Beck-like music where he's taking his first flight, I'm like, ooh, this fits.
Oh yeah, no, again, I'm not about all of it.
Yeah.
I'm about a lot of it, just not all of it. There's some times where I'm like, okay, you don't need to play a fucking song here. Okay, you don't need to.
Yeah, but I think it helps often, like, especially when they usually use the songs when the teenagers are on screen, because they're teenagers.
I know, and
it adds that youthful, like, sort of energy to it.
Yeah, but it almost seems parodic at that point.
And well, no, it's melodramatic because they're teenagers.
Like, you get a lot of teenage
emotional
drama
problems
in here.
are like dating and stuff. And so yeah, like when they're having, melodramatic teenage problems, melodramatic teenager music plays because
I won't lie, it was kind of maybe appropriately on the nose during the fireworks scene with Adam
yeah,
Eve.
it felt slightly parodic, because it's kind of funny because like they're kids and this is how kids think relationships are. Like, yeah. And they're kid superheroes too. Their lives are just out of control.
Yeah, which by the way, man, that's it's really nice that they've been leaning into like, hey, this shit really sucks for your social life. Mm-hmm. And I like how, like, I don't know, I really appreciate the way that it's deconstructing and satirizing the superhero stuff in a way that feels less means, like, again, it's like you said, it's like Alan Moore. If Alan Moore were a huge comic book fan, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, not all satire is mean-spirited.
Yeah,
and this show has dark moments, but it's never mean-spirited.
Yeah,
I should have said superhero comic book fan, because obviously Alan Moore is a huge fan of comic books.
He loves the medium of comic books.
Yeah.
But he doesn't like comic book heroes anymore.
Yeah, the show has a lot of heart to it. Like,
yes,
all of the relationships are believable and like they feel real and legitimate. And again, goes back a lot to the acting, where the actors that are like delivering these lines really, really pull off like their genuine interest in these other characters. It's
like they, and it's amazing what they get done in 45 minutes, and it never feels too long, never feels rushed. Like it always feels exactly the way it should be paced, and I really like that, especially with how many stories they're telling at once constantly.
Yeah,
like they're telling the story of the new Guardians of the Globe, which is has nothing to do with basically with Mark or Omni-Man, but they introduce them through those characters, and then they branch out into their own stories. Like whatever's happening with Robot, like something weird's happening with him, but we're not sure what it is.
Yeah, and kind of going back to Falcon and Winter Soldier again, which is also like telling a lot of things. But somehow
it's all centered around Sam and Bucky, so they can only focus on one thing at a time.
And whereas this is just so like organic, it just feels so good. Like, yeah, man, Invincible really ate Falcon and Winter Soldier's lunch. Like, just really came in and did it.
That said, I think if we're talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think it may be a thing where they've introduced an antagonist every episode so far.
Yeah.
And maybe they're done doing that. And now it's just gonna be, all right. We have all the players set on the on the game board. Now shit's gonna go down, right? But Invincible, like, because it's had a lot more time, but also like it's had a lot more time. I guess it's had an episode more time.
Yeah.
But also like it uses a lot of shorthand that people just understand now, to get stuff done. Like it rushes through the stuff that you don't need to worry about. You don't need to learn the exact stories of every single Guardian of the Globe. They give you just enough to show like they're people with their own internal lives, and now they're gone. Like that little girl is never going to see the Martian Manhunter guy again.
Yeah, Martian Man. He's stretched his last stretch.
Yeah, like the Russian Flash is never gonna see his girlfriend again, and we've actually dealt with the fallout of that with her too.
Yeah.
Which I believe that's Grey Delisle, playing both her and Monster Girl.
Yep. I think she plays Shrink Ray.
She might play a few. Like they still bring in like some traditional Western prelay actors.
By the way,
into the show.
I gotta say, I positively adore the names in this show.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Explode, Duplicate. Oh man, I'd say it's on par with Venture Brothers in terms of like just wonderful names. Venture Brothers goes more out like completely comedic with it.
Yeah.
But like both shows have like this amazing fucking just they name their characters perfectly.
And everybody's ready to poke fun at Invincible. Like one of my favorites was Alan the Alien. Just like, really? That's what you're going with? Well, from my perspective, you're quite invincible.
Yeah. And like other characters like, that seems a little presumptuous.
Yeah.
I do. It is a name that he is gonna have to grow into, which I kind of dig that.
Yeah.
I kind of dig the idea.
Yeah, you have
of, like,
to earn that name because, like, first of all, he's in the he's in the shadow of the world's most powerful superhero. Mm-hmm. And the show keeps hinting that Omni-Man is not quite as strong as he used to be. Like they even hint after that kaiju fight we talked about that, you know, he was kind of on the ropes there for a little bit. Not sure what's up.
Well, and you know, it might be the fact that he had to fight all these superheroes and now his body is weaker because it did a number on him too.
But that fighting the kaiju was also after he spent at least a couple of months committing genocide on an entire other dimensional planet.
Yeah, he might have been pretty tired.
That scene, by the way,
one of the most clipped scene on Twitter right now. Like it's
the interesting thing about that scene is like it is like threefold for me, the emotions that I felt during that scene. One, it's horrifying. Like it's actually terrifying to see him go out there and just destroy.
Because if he can do it to them,
yeah.
Guess who else he can do it to?
Yeah, but on the other hand, why did they kept invading? They kept trying, and at some point, like, you know what? No,
they were winning. They were winning. Aside from their once they adapted, they figured, we can come back and we can invade.
They barely got through the front door. Let's be honest.
Okay, but at the same time, as soon as they that last attempt, if Omni-Man wasn't there, they were probably gonna set up a base there. They were ready to set a foothold. But then Omni-Man shows up, is like, no, I'm going in there. And the implications, I love it, because the first time I watched through it, I've watched this show 3 times. The first time I watched through it, I did not realize that when he got back home, he had a full beard. I'm like, oh, he had been on that planet for months, just fucking their shit up.
Systematically destroying everything.
And then holding the last remaining few in a horrible hostage situation before he drops their tallest mountain on them.
Yeah. Yeah. But that scene on one hand is like, well, this is terrifying, but on the other hand is like, did they kind of ask for that?
Maybe not the whole genocide.
Not every single person on the planet. Maybe the military of deserved it.
Yeah,
but
it's kind of like
the civilians.
Yeah, not the civilians, obviously not. But it is kind of one of those weird points of like, man, at that point, like, obviously Omni-Man's a terrible person, but you're also kind of watching this like, you really shouldn't have fucking tried to invade 3 goddamn times.
The line, "Earth isn't yours," is like, oh.
The exact line is,
Earth isn't yours.
You don't understand. Earth isn't yours to conquer.
Yeah, Earth isn't yours to conquer. And I'm just like, ooh, JK. Ah!
Yeah, he really leans into that. Oh man, again,
he's so fucking good.
He is so good.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, they even deal with some uncomfortable topics. They haven't super dealt with it yet, but Monster Girl's whole thing is super uncomfortable, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Especially
the fact that her power is that she can turn into basically a giant super Skrull, but that costs her
she has to age backwards every time she does it.
Yeah, de-age, and she, the line she uses look. Have you ever it's really hard to date in this, I should be 28. It's really hard to date like this. Everybody that I could date is either going through, or everybody that's interested is either going through puberty or is on some sort of registry.
Yeah, she just can't have a love life, because no normal good person would be interested in her who's an adult. And luckily it's not anime and they don't do, so they're not going to do something creepy with it. But yeah, it's one of those things where she's just this really sucks for me. I want to help people. I want to use my power to help people, but it costs me everything, basically, when it comes to my personal life.
I feel kind of the worst for her out of a lot of different people on the cast.
Oh yeah, it's a terrible way to live.
Yeah. It does make me wonder though, so she does age as when she's not a monster.
As long as she just spends a long time not doing it.
But the only way for her to be of use to society in order to save people, she has to.
Yeah, but she's gonna try and space it out as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where Robot's oh yeah, we're gonna train all this time. She's I literally cannot do that.
I cannot train 3 times a day unless you want to be changing my diapers.
Yeah, she's not being lazy. She just can't physically do that. And I like that there's just one old guy on the team. He's oh yeah, I was part of the team and then I wasn't. And he just keeps kind of rubbing it in their faces.
I'm the most experienced here.
Yeah, good to be back, and just pissing off the kids.
We get it. You've been here. You're old.
Rex.
He should be insufferable, but I like him.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a hard. He's getting his just utter shit kicked in was fantastic to watch, legitimately. But there is a point where I'm okay, even watching his shit get kicked in isn't making up for just how truly shit Rex has been.
Yeah, the only thing that helps is that after he gets his ass kicked, and Muscle says, "Hey, we good?" And he's like, "Yeah,
we're good.
he's like, "Yeah, I probably deserved it."
It's
like, he seems to have those moments where like his instinct is always to be an asshole, but when he thinks about it, he's like, "Well, why am I doing that?" But then he still does it because he has no self-control.
Yeah. Didn't need your help. Fuck you, Invincible. Oh god.
I think it helps also that, you know, again, it's Jason Mantzoukas, and he's just he always plays assholes, but you always like to see him.
He plays it so well.
The only time I remember that he didn't play an asshole was when he played Derek in The Good Place.
Yeah.
Which is actually one of my favorite roles from him.
And I think in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, he was just a guy suffering from PTSD. He wasn't necessarily
really?
an asshole.
I haven't actually seen that.
But yeah, like usually you see him like as Dennis Feinstein or something.
Yeah.
Parks and Rec.
And he just plays the asshole so well. I mean, if you got a typecast,
he's
you do it
awesome
so well.
voice.
Yeah. This entire show is just fantastic, and I just want more and more and more of it as soon as possible. Like this is one of those things where I don't read ahead in the manga, but goddamn, I might get the comics for this.
They're really good. They're very expensive to get all the comics, but like it is a complete run.
It's gonna be really tough. I know that episode 8's gonna come out, and I know they're gonna like have some huge cliffhanger or some big hint at what's to come, and I'm gonna have to wait because I don't. Man, it really sucks because Jujutsu Kaisen, right? I've been watching that. I don't want to read up on that. The anime is amazing. The music, the animation.
Yeah, I just want to experience it as anime.
Yeah,
I think with Invincible, it's different. Because the art is so vibrant and expressive in the comic in a way that like even the animated series can't match it. Like the colorists on that comic are fucking amazing, as well as just Ryan Otley's like art. Is just great and like really, really good and really like impactful. But also like I don't know. I'm someone who has read a large portion of the comic. I maybe read halfway through the whole story. I fell off because it's a really long comic and I didn't have any money. But like I read most of Invincible through library books at community college. But go ahead.
You're good. No, I shouldn't cut you off.
But yeah, I still really, really, really enjoy the animated series, and just like I'm just more excited for what's gonna happen because I want to see how they handle it as an animated show.
I hear its later stuff is a little meh. I don't know.
I don't know.
I've just heard some kind of like, yeah, it gets a little weird near the end.
Endings are hard, man.
And here's the thing, like Robert Kirkman's writing this twice now. So if he has something he wants to fix, he can fix it.
Yeah, hindsight, man.
Oh yeah, no, that is kind of the great thing about this is that with him so heavily involved, he can be like, okay, I thought this would work. It did not work. So let's change that.
Let's try that. What if I shifted it to this? Like hindsight, man. Like hindsight is one of the reasons DBZA is like so many people enjoy that because we're able to like look back on all this stuff and be like, what if this though? You know?
Yeah, a lot of people are like, oh man, like I love DBZA and how it handled this. I was like, hey, 90% of this only works because we've seen the entire show in and out, okay?
20 years of hindsight also, like, Jesus.
Yeah. And also most of Invincible, a lot of Invincible takes place in the mid-aughts to the 2010s.
It feels it.
I think it didn't exist. I don't think it existed past the 2010s, actually. It ended like 5 years ago, I think. But so like they're changing the social context of the story as well, and that changes some dialogue. It changes the way some characters think. It doesn't change the entire story, but it does change the vibe. And I think that also may make it just a fun companion piece to the show rather than like, oh, well, I want to experience these beats only in the show.
Yeah. And
so I would recommend the comic, but it's also very expensive to get into the comic.
Well, I'll see how that price point hits me once episode 8 rolls around, and if this show keeps going like at the clip it's going, expect another episode of the Talkcast Podshow on this, because I am hooked. I am in. I fucking love this. Like,
I
this,
think you guys will want to discuss it once the season's over.
probably, like, this is my favorite show of the year so far, and I don't see much else supplanting it. Like, this is
I'm
solid.
really looking. I won't lie. I'm also kind of looking forward to because I know this isn't necessarily the point of the series, but I want more villains, like fights against villains, because in episode 4, that fucking earthquake dude was so good.
He was
so
fun.
Good.
Like,
Oh.
every character has just like this little twinge of humor to them that I love. It's fantastic. It's tongue-in-cheek, but the world itself takes itself seriously. It rides this incredible line.
Yeah, like Robert Kirkman's a guy who loves, just a little bit of humor in his stories, because, I don't know, I think every good story needs at least a little bit of humor, because life has at least a little bit of humor. Mm-hmm. And if a story's just a bummer all the time, or just serious all the time, that's actually less real to life.
Yeah.
Like, true to life, that's actually just melodramatic. So I think it really adds to the realism, actually, to just let there be lighter moments, let people joke, let some people be kind of dorky, including the villains.
Yeah. Again, by the way, the guy who played Earthquake Dude, that's Mickey Mouse's current voice actor.
Yeah, man. Like, you get a lot of interesting polls for just like one-off characters. I mean, Mark Hamill plays the tailor, the dude that makes all the super suits.
Oh,
like he showed up. I'm like, oh, it's Mark Hamill.
Yeah, and the moment he starts speaking too.
Yeah, you know it.
And I believe he's playing a real historical fashion designer.
Art Rosenbaum.
Art Rosenbaum. I think that's a real person.
It sounds like it could be. I mean,
I guess I can Google it real quick. Yes, Art Rosenbaum is a real artist. He might not have designed outfits originally, but Art Rosenbaum is the name of an actual artist. I'm not sure if he's supposed to be that real artist. Oh, speaking of real things that reference real quick, I just want to note, did you notice what his high school is named?
What was his high school named?
Reginald Johnson High School.
I did not notice that. I do know that there are a couple of like Kirkman nods to.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I was just Scott seems confused. He's the dad from what's the one called? I get the names mixed up. The Steve Urkel one.
Oh, Family Matters.
Family Matters. Yeah, he's the dad from Family Matters. Reginald Johnson.
What? I know that they make references to like real comic books that Mark reads, and
they're not superhero based. They're all like pulp, like old pulp like stuff. So like just weird concepts, horror stuff.
Which again is actually a lot like Watchmen.
Yes, where it's all pirates.
And speaking of like edgy, cynical comic book things, they also take like a quick jab at Kick-Ass when he's trying to come up with his name. Maybe I could be Ass Kicker. No, that's blatantly childish.
Yeah, and I like whenever people make fun of Mark Millar, because Mark Millar deserves to be made fun of at every fucking turn because he's a terrible writer.
Damn.
Well, what have you guys all thought about Invincible? Let us know in the comments. Those of you who are here in chat live, I
want to read Science Dog. That's what I say.
Science Dog is the actual comic. So, you can. So, definitely check out Invincible. Let us know what you're thinking. And we'll see you guys next time on the Talkcast Podshow. For those of you here live, we'll see you at the after show.